with Global FM, your number one source for R&B in the Bahamas.
Global 99.5 FM reminds our listeners that the views and opinions expressed on this show are those of the host and guests and not necessarily the opinions of the owners of Global Communications Network and the operators of.
Today can be the turning point in your life by making a simple decision.
Fundamental questions of navigation. Where am I? Where am I going? And how do I get there from here?
I invite the leaders of our planet to ask themselves these three questions before they make any crucial decisions.
But if you don't make decisions, you're going to stay right where you are.
We are all map makers.
We are in a time of transition.
If we're going to change, we have to change the direction that we're going.
Our planet needs leaders who know where they want to go.
When we change the direction we're going, then we want to make sure we're going in the right direction.
Leaders who can see the big picture.
Because if we're not, we're going to either go backwards or we're going to stay where we are.
Recognizing the psychological and the spiritual shifts and changes that need to be made, often from the inside to the outside.
To be able to shape your future, you have to be willing and able to change your paradigm.
Complex journeys require navigation. The path to the truth is one such journey. This is your GPS. Hairstyling services provided by J.D. Edwards Salon and Spa, Palmdale Shopping Plaza, Madera Street. Accessories provided by Chevette Williamson Jewelry. Standout jewelry for standout women. Good afternoon, everyone. Welcome to GPS, Global Paradigm Shift on Global 99.5 FM. I am your host, Michelle Malcolm. And as always, it's a pleasure to be in your company today. Thank you so much for tuning in and making GPS a part of your afternoon. Now, usually on Wednesdays, we do a Wellness Wednesday show, but I'm sure you are all aware that a storm is traveling that is threatening some islands of the Bahamas. So as opposed to doing our regular Wednesday wellness show, we are going to be focusing once again today on Tropical Storm Nicole, which is expected to upgrade to Hurricane Nicole by the time it starts to really impact the islands of the Bahamas. And so I have a couple of folks who are going to be joining me throughout the show today. They may not be able to give us the full 2 hours, but we will take whatever we can get. These are persons who would have been a part of the press conference that was held by NEMA today and have graciously agreed to appear for a few minutes on GPS to give us the latest update. And so I want to thank you both for being here. I'm going to start today with our Chief Meteorological Officer, Jeffrey Green, from the Met Department. Welcome, sir, to you.
Good afternoon, everyone. Good afternoon, Michelle.
All right. What's the latest? What can you tell us? Because the press conference was at 10 this morning, and I'm sure that there's been more updated information since then, now being 2:04. What can you tell us about the storm?
Yes, this is the update for 1 p.m. The center of Nicole was located at 26.3 degrees north and 73.3 degrees west, or about 21 miles west of Hopetown, Abaco, about 40 miles east-southeast of East and Grand Bahama, and that's about 112 miles northwest of Governor's Harbor, Eleuthera, 99 miles north of New Providence, and 104 miles northeast of Nicholstown, Andros. Hurricane warnings are still in effect for the Berry Islands, Abaco, and Grand Bahama. Tropical storm warning is in effect for Bimini. Tropical storm warnings for New Providence, Eleuthera, and Andros has been discontinued. Nicole is moving towards the west at 12 miles an hour. Maximum sustained winds are now near 70 miles an hour with higher gusts. Nicole is expected to become a hurricane as it passes near or over Grand Bahama. The system has already moved through the central Abaco area. Nicole is a large tropical storm, and tropical storm force winds extend outward up to 460 miles, especially to the north of the center. A private weather station in Elbow Key reported sustained winds of 43 miles an hour and a wind gust of 59 miles an hour. So we know the winds are strong over the area. Storm surge and inundation, as much as 4 to 6 feet above normal tide, is impacting coastal shores of the islands of Grand Bahama and Abaco. Minimal storm surge of 1 to 3 feet is expected elsewhere in the northwest Bahamas. Large swells and battering waves continue to cause life-threatening surf and rip currents for most of the northwest and portions of the central Bahamas. Nicole is expected to produce rainfall amounts of 3 to 5 inches, with localized higher amounts of 8 inches mainly across the Grand Bahama and Abaco areas today through Friday. We are asking residents to remain indoors for the islands of New Providence and Eleuthera and Andros. But if you do have to venture outdoors, please avoid the coastal roads. And if you see the weather deteriorate, please move indoors. Michelle?
Okay, so give us some kind of timeline based on what you would have just shared, when we can expect it to hit different areas of the islands that it's expected to impact. Because you said it's passed over central Abaco already. Is that what you said?
Yes, the center of the storm has already moved through um, Elbow Key and central Abaco. So again, I said it's a big storm. So that's the center of the storm. Remember,
Okay,
the storm is not just a point.
right.
So the winds extend outward up to 400 and I think I said 460 miles. Yes, 460 miles, mainly to the north and northwest of the system. We still have tropical storm force winds that will impact the area through tonight. So through tonight, Abaco will still be under tropical storm force winds. As the storm moves towards the west, they will be impacted by the stronger tropical storm force winds of at least 58 miles an hour to 73 miles an hour, anywhere within that range of winds. It's possible. It's only possible now. It may not happen, but it's expected that the storm may become a Category 1 storm, and that wind speed will go beyond 73 miles an hour. It'll be at least 74 miles an hour, which makes it a Category 1 storm as it passes over or near Grand Bahama.
But for now, it's still a tropical storm.
It's now still a tropical storm.
Okay, so it's expected to start to impact. It seems like it's moving kind of fast. Is that a correct assessment?
It's reasonably fast. Once you see it above 10 miles an hour, it's moving pretty fast with a good pace.
Yeah, that's good news.
Yes, that's good news.
Okay, so what time do you expect it to actually start to impact Grand Bahama?
Well, in the next, well, I wouldn't say it's going to start because it already started. Because
Okay,
remember now, it's not a point, but
right.
the center of the storm will impact East and Grand Bahama by 5 p.m. So we're
Okay.
looking at between 4 and 5, and that's when we expect that the storm may become a little bit better organized and may become a Category 1 storm.
Now, what we've seen happen in the past, Dorian was a great example, is once it got over Grand Bahama, it sort of slowed down because it needs now to turn based on Grand Bahama's proximity to the mainland USA. It seems that storms often slow down over Grand Bahama, just like if you're driving really fast in a car and you want to turn, you know,
Yes,
to
you have to
head
press
another
brakes.
direction,
Yes.
you have to slow down to make that
Mhm.
turn. So do you anticipate the same will happen with this storm?
I think that it may slow a bit, but I expect that because the ridge is sliding to the east of the system, that once it starts to make that curvature, it won't be hanging around. It's going to continue to move towards the west and then slowly towards the northwest.
Okay. And I've seen some videos that was being circulated of a person supposedly from Abaco, and they were showing the amount of flooding that took place, and this was before the storm actually hit them. So, is it safe to say that this is a very wet system, and this is why so many issues are going out with regard to flooding that we need to be aware of?
No, that's not actually flooding from rain. Most of the flooding that you saw was flooding from surge and the battering waves that were coming ashore ahead of
I
the
see.
system.
Okay.
So again, remember I said there would be about 4 to 6 feet of surge,
Hmm.
and in some areas you could get a little higher depending on the shape of the island. Because what happened, the water is piling up into the area and coming ashore ahead of that storm. So
Wow.
even though the storm is still maybe a couple miles away, the water is still ahead of it piling up and it's being pushed on shore. It's almost like you in a tub and you push the water and it's going to slide towards the other end of the tub.
Interesting. All right. Okay, so I guess you guys, I know you guys have your hands full there. I know that there's another press conference at 5 p.m.
Yes, ma'am.
Is that what time the next update is expected from the Met Department?
Yes, the next update I think would be at, yes, at 5. That's correct.
Okay, all right. So people should continue to listen to credible sources for information and updates as it relates to the storm. Now, you also mentioned briefly that the warning has been ceased for certain islands. Can you repeat that information, please?
Yes, the islands of Eleuthera, New Providence, and Andros has the warnings have been discontinued. They were under a tropical storm warning and they have been discontinued. So that means that you are free to do move about. But like I said, we still have areas that are being battered by the coastal inundation of the strong waves and the swells. So I ask you to avoid those areas. And notice that the winds aren't as strong because the system, most of the winds have pulled north of it. And we didn't get as much winds as we expected as the first track predicted.
Hmm. Okay, so we're definitely going to hear more from our next guest about the areas that here in New Providence that should be avoided as a result of that surge that you talked about. Because even though the all clear has been given, there are some roads that have been closed, and so our next. Thank you so much, Jeffrey.
You're welcome.
I really appreciate you being here. And if you want to stick around, you can. If not, I understand. I can take it personal. All right.
Okay. All right. Thank you.
But thank
Um,
you so much
you're welcome.
for your information. Okay, so our next guest is, I hope I pronounce this right, Bahia Hebburn.
No worry, you're
And
close. Bahia.
Bahia Hebburn, Assistant Civil Works Coordinator with the Ministry of Works. Um, and you are here to talk about specifically, even though New Providence has been given the all clear, there are some areas in New Providence that have been impacted by that surge of water that Jeffrey just talked about. Even though we're not taking a direct hit, we're still being impacted, and as a result, you revealed during the press conference today that some roads have been closed. Can you bring us an update on that, please?
Yes, I can. So, as Mr. Green said, we are going to continue having swells all into the weekend. And so we completely anticipate that the northern coastline is going to be compromised. So the existing areas that are now being closed are West Bay Street, between Ferguson Road and Saunders Beach. Saunders Beach again, that same roundabout, down to Seaview Drive, and then again towards Goodman's Bay, and then going further all the way down to where Sandyport is. That entire coastline heading west from Sandyport, passing Nesbitt's, the Greencastle, all the sea walls, caves, Travelers Rest, all the way to Gambia. It's subject to massive waves just overtopping the seawall. So what we've done is that we have closed the road. We've put in Jersey barriers with some warning signs on it, and we're working in conjunction with the Royal Bahamas Police Force so that we can safely secure that area. So the persons who live locally, they can still access, but we are strongly advising motorists to avoid that area, especially during high tide, because when the waves come, it goes over the seawall, it floods the road. As we said, by Go Slow Bend, by 8 o'clock, and high tide, I think, was around 10-ish. By 8 o'clock, there was 8 to 10 inches of water. And so we would like people to be able to still move freely around the island, but we do want them to be cautious. And if they don't need to be in that area, they can just stay away. And there are other places where they can divert to.
Explain to people why it's dangerous to try to, we see a lot of Bahamians are interesting people, I don't know if it's maybe because people in New Providence don't experience the wrath of these storms like they do in other family islands, but many of us here in New Providence think that this is an opportunity for sightseeing and recording video and posting on social media, etc. Why is it so important that they avoid those areas that you just mentioned? How dangerous can it be to be caught up in that?
It is going to be an issue. A lot of times we're so used to doing our day-to-day activities. You just go from point A to point B. We're just going we're just living our life. Mm-hmm. We just automatically assume that even though a storm is happening, just because the way is clear or people can pass, or they're going to go ahead and do it. I went out this morning. We've been out from 5 o'clock this morning. We had a blocked road on Collins Avenue. Tree had fallen down. The minute that there's a gap in order for people to go through, they will try to attempt to go through, even if work crews are working there. Mm-hmm. And that's point number one. People really want to go where they got to go, even if it's may not be the best path, because they want the shortest point from point A to point B, which I understand. I am subject to that too. The second thing is that when you have, especially with the waves coming over, it is taking all of what's at the bottom of the seabed along the northern shoreline and dumping it into the road. So when I went to Arawak Key, it was filled with coral, rocks, and we're talking about not just pebbles, rocks 2-inch, 3-inch, 6-inch. Some of the damage assessment teams, they encountered much larger rocks, and words of one was a boulder. I saw a discarded pole. It looked like it wasn't a telephone pole quite, but it was a metal pole, but it was quite a large pole, and it's been brought over by the waves. And especially, we take nature for granted. Nature especially water, is a very strong force. It will carry anything. And so if you keep on going out west, so say by Travelers Rest, the waves were flooding over the seawall, and it was basically a river. So if you imagine where the top of those gray seawalls were, the water was going over that. And it was so when the wave comes over and it surges, and it still takes some time for it to drain back out again, it effectively traps that water. So you're driving through, some cases 4-inch, 6-inch, 10 inches of water. And especially when it comes to waves, you have the water just pushing and pulling your car across. So your tire doesn't have much grip on the road. And so again, you're used to just driving forward, but now you have a force that's trying to yank it to the side. That makes it dangerous in order to drive. So that's why we're advising persons to please avoid those areas. We also would like those areas to be avoided because when we actually do go in and we are working, because you'll see like a loader will come, put their bucket down and start scraping the road. Again, it's either going to cause a nuisance to the driver because they have to be behind this vehicle, or and what will end up happening is they'll try to overtake that vehicle. I'm sorry, overtake that loader, which is again dangerous because you're trying to overtake on a road that has a lot of debris on it. You don't have much traction, it's already wet. So if when we are working, we would prefer you to avoid those areas so that we can clear it as soon as we can. And especially the only people who have to navigate that would be, again, emergency vehicles and residents, so local access, who must leave their homes at some point in time. But again, even with them, we would advise them, if you don't need to travel, stay put until the weather conditions become better and the road conditions are better.
Is it possible for some of these smaller cars, because NASA has a bunch of these tiny little cubes and other those small cars, are we talking sufficient water that they could possibly be washed out to see if they did not heed this warning, or they just need to avoid it to avoid damage to their vehicles in general?
I'll be honest with you. I have been, like, when I was watching it during the King, when we went around like 10 o'clock, I had concern for that. Now, I have not had any reports of any cars being washed out, but it was a sizable amount of water. So I again would err on the side of caution and not drive your car through it. And so, pro tip, like, because nobody wants to stall out in water, sometimes you got to open the door a little, be vigilant around your surroundings, open your door and take note of how far the water is to your car before you start rolling through the water. Because if you do that when you're through the water, you will flood out inside the interior of your car, and that's not good. Mm-hmm. But that is why it's some people, they prefer driving their car through the water. I have witnessed that. I witnessed that in May. I have also witnessed the car stalling in the water, or they make it through the water, and then about 200, 300 feet after they came out on the other side of the water, and then their engine shut down. Mm-hmm. So sometimes, even though it might be a little bit more of a pain, a couple of minutes or more driving, even 10, 15, that's worth it to take care of your car and take you out of a situation where you could put your life in danger.
Yeah. I mean, we are talking salt water, people, so that's not good for your vehicle.
Yeah. And here's the thing, I do not discriminate against the little car club, because I am also part of the little car club. Mm-hmm. So how I would treat my little shenane, I would wish that other people would treat their own the same way.
Not the shenane, though. Okay, so that's New Providence concerns. What about the other islands that are being impacted by this storm? What are the concerns from your ministry as it relates to there?
So I was actually in the middle of getting the current updates from the area engineers. Okay. So I'm still gathering information. So I just was talking to Eleuthera. They have 3 areas that were flooded. Glass Window Bridge is still closed. They had closed it as of 6 a.m. They had closed it at 6 a.m. and that will on Tuesday, and that will continue to stay closed. And that is definitely one of those areas where if you are driving and the waves come over, you could get washed out. Your car could get washed out. Glass Window is a very dangerous place when those waves come up and over, because it's right at the edge of the Atlantic Ocean. Right. There's just south of the Glass Window by Daddy Joe's, that is flooded out, and I think it might be also in part to there's some like sand mining going on. So if you have factors where nature's been removed, the water can go into the road or into people's properties, and it will cause flooding. So it's also like, so those type of factors are very important. And the third part is, I think James Cistern, like Rainbow Bay, there was flooding. There's flooding there too. It is possible to still divert around it. There's a place, I think it's Sleepy Shores. They can bypass on Sleepy Shores, so at least that is passable. But Daddy Joe's is still impassable. Glass Window Bridge is still closed. With regards to Grand Bahama, so they are, I think, like when the administrators, they, like any administrators, when they talk about it, is there's flooding going on right now. West End, East End, we had already anticipated from the storm surge and how the hurricane is coming. We knew that East End, West End, Sweetings Key, there's going to be flooding, and it has already started. We already got it videos. We've already got confirmation from our officer. They're still hunkering down and being safe as much as possible while the system passes them, because right now they're in the worst of the conditions. So we'll know more about it when the storm has passed, but we're still going to, like, we're still trying to connect with them to get updates. The same thing with Abaco. There's, again, flooding had already started. Like, say, Cooperstown had been passable at the time, like that, but that was yesterday, and we're trying to get an update right now. But we're praying for not just the staff there, but the residents of Abaco and Grand Bahama. I can't imagine them having to go through this again.
I know. None of us can, really. Just, boy. We got to continue to, our thoughts and prayers have to be with the people of Abaco and Grand Bahama in particular, and any storm, any island that's going to be impacted by this storm, because, these storms can not just cause physical damage, but the mental stress of having to go through this again and again and again, especially, I'm sure can be quite tough on them.
Yes, it is. I think that like sometimes, like, especially if you don't live through it or you don't know people who are close to it. The Bahamas is a very interesting place. We're we're archipelago, so you could literally have a chain of destruction run through, like, say, Joaquin, just run through the south, and persons who are in islands, say New Providence, totally unaffected, and they're like, oh, there's no storm going on. There's a storm going on. There's a crisis going on. It's just you yourself are not going through it.
Right.
And so that's we have to be very sensitive to persons who are in the islands that are affected.
Yeah. I agree 1,000%. Those of us here in New Providence, especially, we have been spared so many times the brunt of these storms, even though we get the, outer effects. And I just don't think we have an appreciation for what the persons in those family islands have to deal with. I remember during the passage of Dorian, 3 weeks later, after the storm had gone, 3 weeks later, I had an opportunity to go to Abaco and Grand Bahama, and I was traumatized by what I saw, particularly in Abaco 3 weeks later.
Yeah, it looked like a war zone.
It did. It was traumatizing just to see that. So I can only imagine those who had to live through it, So again, I want to join the voices of all of you professionals in encouraging those of us here in Grand Bahama and other islands that aren't receiving the full impact of the storm to remember our brothers and sisters who will be facing it, and continue to lift them up in prayer and send good thoughts their way, so that we don't have any loss of life or any damage or any injury reported at the end of this storm. That's our prayer.
Thank you.
Bahia,
Bahia, BB. You can also say
Bahia.
Yeah, Bahia. We are good.
So
I have a saying which is called, like, you can call me anything, just say it with respect.
All right. Well, I put full respect on your name because you are one of those persons who are out there working hard on behalf of the Bahamian people. And I want to say
Oh,
thank you to you and all of your team members for everything that you're doing to advise us and keep us safe in the storm. You wanted to say something else?
yeah, yes. A special thank you to all of our Ministry of Works damage assessment and cleanup teams, and definitely, and also to the Royal Bahamas Police Force and the other agencies, because we all work in tandem with like underneath the umbrella of NEMA, and so we're all like, this is like every time that we come together to work in disaster management, all the agencies come together. So, but especially the staff right now at Ministry of Works and Utilities.
Yeah.
Thank you so much.
Thank you so much for joining us today. We're going to take a break. On the other side of the break, I'm going to play some clips from from this morning's press briefing from some of those agencies that Ms. Hepburn just mentioned. I think we have a clip from BPL. We have another one from, police, water and sewage, and the Ministry of Health. And I'm trying to get some others uploaded because I didn't get to edit all of the videos. So I'm going to upload a few more that may not, look as sharp as the others because I haven't had a chance to edit it from this morning. But most importantly, you'll get the information that you need. So thank you so much, Ms. Hepburn, for joining us. We're going to take this break and we'll be back after these words from our sponsors. This is GPS.
Understanding your microbiome, also known as your gut ecosystem, can change everything you thought you knew about nutrition, digestion, immunity, and metabolism. Keeping your gut ecosystem healthy and balanced is essential. Ultimate Microbiome by Longevity was specifically formulated to optimize this ecosystem. It provides the advanced support your gut needs through prebiotic, probiotic, and postbiotic. Our unique blend of probiotics includes Lactobacillus and Plantarum, healthy bacteria that can help prevent harmful bacteria from taking over your gut. Increasing your gut's population of beneficial bacteria creates a more balanced gut microbiome, which has been shown to aid in weight loss, skin health, sleep, mood, and may even help with seasonal allergies. Ultimate Microbiome also promotes the production of postbiotics. Postbiotics are key to help regulate your gastrointestinal health. To enhance digestion, Digizyme Multi-Enzyme Complex, a blend of 5 specific enzymes, has been added to Ultimate Microbiome. It can help break down food so your body can better absorb nutrients. Plus, we've added our proprietary I-26 Hyperimmune Egg Powder to aid in the elimination of disease-causing gut bacteria and help your body balance its immune response. Ultimate Microbiome, the scientific, proprietary, and holistic approach to gut health that helps optimize your body's entire gut ecosystem. To learn more, contact your Longevity associate.
Welcome to Sunshine Auto, the hardest place on the planet for rims, tints, and tires.
We are your auto superstore for rims, Lexani, Azaras, Trueform, Western, Lux, Fuel, Tracklight, Tough, Rough Racing, Velocity, Mud, All-Terrain, and low-profile tires, cars, homes, and commercial window tinting. At Sunshine Auto, we put God first and customer is king.
Blessed love.
To stay healthy, it's crucial to make sure you get the nutrition you need every day. But it's difficult to get all your recommended vitamins and minerals from food alone. Even in the United States, 94% of people are deficient in at least one nutrient. Beyond Tangy Tangerine 2.0 by Longevity is a simple, convenient, and affordable way to help your body get the essential nutrients it needs. It's an advanced plant-driven multivitamin mineral complex that contains certified organic whole foods, trace minerals, and antioxidants. BTT 2.0 supports your body's natural defense system with a proprietary blend of energy-boosting and body-loving nutrients, plus prebiotics, probiotics, amino acids, and enzymes that support digestion. With an unusually high ORAC score of 8,000, you get even more antioxidants to help combat free radicals that can cause damage to your cells. But to get the most benefit and value from any multivitamin, your body must be able to break down the nutrients so you can fully absorb them. Otherwise, they'll just pass through your system without doing any good. Beyond Tangy Tangerine 2.0 was specially formulated with synergizing cofactors to ensure you get maximum nutrient absorption. Beyond Tangy Tangerine 2.0 is the easiest way to give your body the balance and complete daily vitamin mineral supplement it needs for optimal support of your overall health. To learn more, contact your Longevity associate.
This portion of GPS is brought to you by Tiki Bikini Hut at Junkanoo Beach. Great food, cool tropical drinks, and family fun in the sun. Welcome back to GPS Global Paradigm Shift on Global 99.5 FM. Michelle Malcolm here in your company this afternoon. We have a storm out there, and so instead of focusing on our usual Wellness Wednesday, we obviously have to be mindful of the plight of our brothers and sisters throughout the archipelago who are being impacted by Nicole. And so today's show is going to be dedicated to providing you with the latest information and updates as it relates to that storm system. If you have a question or comment, or if you want to let us know what it looks like in your neck of the woods, if you're being impacted by this storm, the telephone numbers to call are 3260271, 3260271, 3260271, or 3260272, 3260272. And the WhatsApp line to send us text messages only is 8010271, 8010271. So a press conference was held by NEMA today, and they had several persons representing the various agencies and departments that are responsible for many areas as it relates to keeping us safe or providing an essential service. And I had an opportunity to attend that press conference with Shelley Lewis from our news department, and was able to record some of the presentations that were made today. So while we're waiting on others to join the actual stream, we did invite several people who agreed to be a part of this afternoon. But as you can imagine, everybody's busy. So I told them, I said, listen, it's a 2-hour show. You can join us whenever you can join us. You know, if you can't do the full 2 hours, I fully understand. But if you can give us just a few minutes to give us an update, that would be great. And so I'm going to play clips from today's press briefing to give you a better idea of what was expressed at the press briefing today, and what is going on out there. So this clip that we're going to play next is with let me find the information here. Just bear with me, please. I just had it up. Okay, so this is the Assistant Commissioner of Police with responsibility for information, communication, and technology, Zhivargo Dames. I need you to play that, please, Jason. The police update.
For the police, as reported yesterday, everything remains the same. All of our communication networks are operational. We do have boots on the ground, especially on those islands in the projected path of Tropical Storm Nicole. Our officers are reporting heavy flooding in Grand Turtle Key, Abaco, Rainbow Bay, Eleuthera, West End, Grand Bahama, and around Goslow Bend and Sanders Beach here in Providence. As such, we are urging all residents to please heed the warnings of NEMA and stay indoors. Do not put yourselves in harm's way. Our first responders are out there. However, they will not put their lives in danger. Please wait until NEMA gives the all clear before traversing our streets.
Okay, couldn't have been made any clearer than that. Keep in mind, people, that the storm is not the only thing that our police department has to deal with. They have to continue to do the job of policing. And so when you decide to not follow those instructions, and they have to then worry about rescuing or taking care of you, that then limits their ability to do the rest of their job as a police force. And so we ask that you please follow those instructions that have been provided and do not go into the areas that you do not have to go into unless you are an essential worker who your expertise is needed in that area. If you're not an essential worker, for God's sake, man, stop putting strain on what is an already a strained environment and stay indoors, stay out of harm's way so that they can focus on helping those that do need help within the areas that are most impacted by the storm, as opposed to having to worry about you and them, plus do all the other duties that they are called on to do as officers or any other agency that you're going to be hearing from in this show today. So we just ask that you not treat this as a spectator sport, which many Bahamians love to do during storms, and that you, in fact, do adhere to what you're being asked to do to stay out of harm's way so that they can continue to provide the valuable service that they need to provide to keep us all, safe. So during that press briefing today, we also heard from the Water and Sewerage Department. I'm looking for the name of the person who would have represented Water and Sewerage. Just bear with me, please, as I look through this. There was a lot of people at that press conference today, y'all. A lot of presentations. So the person who represented, here it is, Water and Sewerage with the Senior Safety Manager and the Environment of the Water and Sewerage Corporation, Mr. Arlington Bethel. So Jason, if you can go ahead and play that clip for me, please.
We are pleased to report that reports coming out of Abaco thus far, our operations there are normal. We have full capacity storage. Our distribution system has been shut off. Our distribution has been shut off until the passage of the storm, and we will resume distributing water. But we will have a full complement of water to supply our customers. In North Andros, operations are normal. In Eleuthera, the naval base power plant is on standby generator due to power outage. The North Eleuthera is on static power, and that is operational. Last night, as some of you may have been aware, we had a major leak in 2nd Street, the Grove area. That was a 24-inch leak on our main. That was repaired as of 8:30 p.m. last night, and water was restored by 9 p.m. In New Providence, we are between 90 and 95% storage capacity, and so everything is normal for us thus far.
Okay, so that was the update as it relates to the Water and Sewerage Corporation representative that was at the press briefing today that was held by NEMA. Just for the record, there will be another press briefing at 5 p.m. this afternoon to update us on where we are at as it relates to Nicole and how the islands of Abaco and Grand Bahama in particular would be faring under Nicole's wrath. And thank God it doesn't seem that, I mean, it is expected to strengthen a little later on to a Cat 1, but obviously this is not at the level of a Dorian, thank God. It's not as powerful a storm. But that being said, we must continue to be wise, vigilant, and responsible as it relates to how we treat the storm or how we approach the storm. We don't want to assume that because it's not a Cat 5 like a Dorian, that we can go out and, make nuisance of ourselves and get in the way of the persons who actually have to go out and do the work. And so the telephone numbers to call, 326, again, if you are in an area that you're being impacted in by the storm, we would love to hear from you. If you could call in 3260271, 3260271, 3260271, or 3260272, 3260272, 3260272 are the numbers to call. If you want to send us a text message, that number would be 801-0271, 801-0271. It's pointless to send me any voice notes or video on the text line because I won't be able to do anything with it while we're live on the show. And it's also pointless to call the text line because I won't be able to respond to your call. So if you want to call with an update, the numbers to call again are 3260271, 3260271, or 3260272, 3260272. Okay, so during the press briefing today, we also heard from a representative of the Ministry of Health. Let's see who that would have been. I'm scrolling down through these many names of persons who would have presented. Just bear with me, please. Ministry of Health, Ministry of Health. Where is it? Okay, here it is. So Antoinette Cumberbatch, Senior Nursing Officer, presented at that press briefing today on behalf of the Ministry of Health and Wellness. And here's what she had to say in her update to the press.
We at the Ministry of Health remain in a constant state of readiness. Our competent medical professionals are on the ground to execute the mandate of ESF 8 with responsibilities of health and medical services. Currently, our clinics are secured, emergency equipment and supplies are in place, and our emergency plans and protocols are being implemented. Each member of our healthcare team, as well as our stakeholders, are aware of the plans and their designated responsibilities. Our healthcare teams has visited our vulnerable population throughout the islands and have has ensured that they have received their medications. Our vulnerable population, inclusive of our clients with NCDs, those with disabilities, mental health challenges, our elderlies, children, and our lower socioeconomic groupings, and those residing in low-lying areas and on the coastal areas have been advised. Those persons have been advised to seek safe haven in our available shelters or relatives in secured areas. Our satellite phones and other forms of communications are available. Generators have been refueled and are standby in case of power outages. And our vaccines and medications have also been secured. Our 24-hour duty rosters, IDA teams, which are furnished with mental health nurses, relief team, and emergency response teams are on standby. At this time, our clients should have secured their emergency plans and ensure that every member of their family is familiar with them.
All right, so that was representing the Ministry of Health and Wellness, Antoinette Cumberbatch, Senior Nursing Officer. Now, it was revealed during the press briefing today that there were, I believe, a total of 528 persons in shelters across the islands. And the majority of those persons were in Abaco. I think one shelter had over two shelters had over 200 and something each. Many of the other shelters had like 8 here, 5 there, etc. Small numbers. Some of the shelters, no one showed up. But the bulk of that 528 persons was in Abaco. Like I said, 2 shelters in Abaco were accommodating over 200 people each. One of them actually became full, took on full capacity, so much so that they had to open another shelter in that particular area. You know, what does that mean as it relates to other persons in Abaco who would not have taken advantage of the shelter or even Grand Bahama per se? It means that people have chosen once again to ride out the storm, either at home or in the home of loved ones, etc. And that is their right. But we just hope that it does not cost them anything to have decided to ride the storm out at home, cost them anything like life or limb. I was talking to Shelley Lewis about it on the way back, and one of the questions that was raised during that press briefing was, if only 528 people are in shelters, are you concerned that others are going to have to face the storm in facilities that may not be up to par? And they were talking specifically about people's homes, because it has been said over and repeatedly, and you should be aware that if, God forbid, you find yourself in a situation where you need help in the midst of the storm passing, they're not going to send somebody out to risk their lives to come and rescue you. And, you may say, well, that's not fair. That's their job. No, it's not their job to put their lives on the line to rescue you in the middle of a storm when you have been warned and urged and begged to go to a shelter and you refuse to do so. It's not right to expect someone, they have their own loved ones and families to be concerned about, for them to have to put their life on the line because you are being hard-headed and refuse to take heed. This is what happened during Dorian. All of those people who lost their lives, it wasn't because they weren't warned. They were warned and begged and pleaded with to please seek refuge elsewhere than your homes, particularly all of those who perished in those shanty towns. Great effort was put into urging them to not stay. And they were, oblivious to those messages, and many of them perished as a result. So understand that, God forbid, if something were to happen and you get trapped, you just got to ride it out and pray that you make it through, because the authorities have made it very clear that they are not going to put the lives of their officers at risk to rescue you when you have been warned to please not put yourself in that position where you need to be rescued. So we're going to keep our eye on this. And like I said, thank God this is not at the level that a Dorian was, but it should still be taken seriously. And people just need to make sure that you are cooperating with those who put their, who are out there doing their best to keep us up to date and provide information and provide key services, that you don't make it harder for them to do their jobs because you have decided that that item in your home is so important that you have to stay there to protect it. Things can be replaced, lives cannot. So as I was saying to Shelley as we were discussing it on the way back to the station, I can't think of anything in my home that is more valuable than my life. And it's just not worth it. So if you are in a facility that you think may not be strong enough, particularly if you still have time, please take advantage of the shelters that have been designated in your area, because many of them, we were told, are empty. People not taking advantage of it. And, we just have to be wise in this situation. So we're going to take a break. On the other side of the break, we'll hear more updates from the press briefing this morning, and hopefully some of the others that promised that they would check in to the show will do so that we can get the latest information from those persons within those departments. Stay with us. This is GPS.
Your body's immune system is under constant pressure from things like stress, lack of exercise, and toxins in the environment. It's crucial to be proactive and support your immune system with the nutrients it needs to function effectively. But it's often hard to get these nutrients from food alone. Introducing fast-acting Zinc Plus Immune Support by Longevity. Unlike zinc-only supplements, Zinc Plus Immune Support builds on the proven power of zinc and adds complementary nutrients to give your immune system extra support. Vitamin D helps balance the effects of zinc, while our proprietary blend of natural fruit and root extracts provides the extra help your immune system needs to work against daily stressors. And we've included Longevity's exclusive plant-derived minerals to give your body the minerals it needs, but can't get from food alone. And because Zinc Plus Immune Support is delivered in a great-tasting, sugar-free, berry-flavored lozenge, it encourages quicker absorption of all these nutrients into your body. Zinc Plus Immune Support. Zinc plus the extra support your body needs to promote a healthy immune system. To learn more, contact your Longevity associate.
Welcome to Sunshine Auto, the hardest place on the
We are your auto superstore for rims, Lexani, Azaras, Trueform, Western, Lux, Fuel, Trackline, Tough, Rough Racing, Velocity, Mud, All-Terrain, and low-profile tires, cars, homes, and commercial window tinting. At Sunshine Auto, we put God first and customer is king.
Blessed love.
It's gotten harder and harder to get your daily requirement of vital nutrients from food alone. Without additional vitamin and nutrient support, your health and well-being can suffer drastically. That's why Z Radical was specifically formulated. It combines a blend of antioxidant-rich vitamins, minerals, and botanicals with the protective powers of fucoidan to help fill the gaps from lack of nutrients in your foods. The core of Z Radical is fucoidan, a naturally occurring polysaccharide that helps stimulate immune reaction, protecting you against inflammation and oxidative stress. We harvest this powerful mineral-rich nutrient from brown seaweed, harvested only from the world's most pristine ocean waters to ensure the purest quality. It's then extracted using cold process technology to ensure maximum levels of bioavailability. Then we add essential vitamins that help to protect your cardiovascular and nervous systems and are crucial for optimal immune and neurological function. Z Radical also includes a proprietary blend of delicious antioxidant-rich fruits and berries. This great-tasting combination helps your body combat free radical imbalances that can contribute to a variety of degenerative conditions like arthritis and heart disease. Z Radical. Experience the power of fucoidan with antioxidant-rich berries, 8 essential vitamins, and more to provide you with potent health benefits. To learn more, contact your longevity associate.
As reported, storm surges have reached the eastern coast.
Yes. It seems that the video is playing earlier than I wanted it to play. Let me see if I can stop this. And so I can introduce it properly. We are today dealing with the storm that is passing over Nicole. That is expected to upgrade to a Cat 1 before it exits the Bahamas. So right now we're going to hear from Bahamas Power and Light. Let me see if I can start this from the beginning. I'm not sure what's happening. Give me a second. Let me start this over from the beginning. So we're going to hear from Bahamas Power and Light in this clip. And they will be providing us with an update as it relates to what is happening with Bahamas Power and Light. The person who will be speaking in this clip, let me just get the name so that we can make sure we're providing you with the right information. Let's see. The telephone number to call while I look this up: 3260271, 3260271, 3260272, 3260272, or 8010271 is the WhatsApp line. Okay, so here now in this clip is the Director of Field Operations, Bahamas Power and Light, Mr. Sterling Moss. Turned up. We'll try that again. I'm not sure what. Volume on the audio, on the video. I'm not. turned up on my end. Okay, let's try this again. Let's see. Trying to increase the volume on the video itself, so that if you are able to, because I know I was told in a previous show, even though I wasn't able to hear it, and was trying to get a video to play with sound, that you guys could have actually heard it at home. So I don't know if that's the case, but why is this not playing? Okay, we're going to try that again a little later on in the broadcast. Let me see. The telephone number again to call is 8010271. 8010271. Jason, make sure you have everything open that's supposed to be open. In the meantime, while we're working on this, 8010272, 8010271, sorry, is the WhatsApp line. And the telephone number is to call 3260272, 3260272. Okay, I'm not sure what's happening here. I'm going to try this one more time. Let's see if we can get this to be heard by the audience at home. Let's see what we need to do here. I don't know what's happening, y'all, because I know that the video has audio. So I'm not sure why we are unable to hear it. It's a bit frustrating. Okay, and because of the size of the clip, I was not able to upload it to StreamYard, so I'm trying to share it. And I don't know why it's not being heard. Okay, let's try this one more time, Jason. Let me see what happens now. Let's bring it up on screen. And let's try to play it. Okay, guys, we're having some technical difficulties here today. He had some important information to share, and I would really like to be able to
Bahamas Power and Light Company
share this
Limited
with you. Okay, try it again, Jason. I
continues
see
to
it playing
monitor
now.
the passage of tropical storms Nicole. Our concerns and prayers are centered upon our staff and their families in the affected communities. In Abaco, the present conditions reported are wind and rain and significant gusts. As reported, storm surges have breached the eastern coast and Keys. Manowar and Scotland Key remain off since yesterday. Crews are hampered by weather conditions in traveling from the mainland to these areas. Investigations will continue after the storm. Wanakee and most of Hopetown remain online throughout the night. Power to those areas were interrupted at 8 a.m. due to high winds. Because of the localized flooding experienced in Blackwood and Cooperstown, as well as surrounding areas, supplies for these areas were interrupted at about 6 a.m. as well. The same is true in central Abaco up to North Abaco. As conditions deteriorated, consistent with our control shutdown strategy, these areas were shut down. These areas will remain offline until the storm passes. At present, South Abaco remains online. However, as soon as sustained winds exceed 40 miles per hour, power supplies to this area will be disconnected. This will place all of mainland Abaco and the surrounding keys in a total system shutdown condition. Assessment teams and crews will be mobilized as soon as the all clear is given through NEMA. Supplies on Moores Island remain online at present. Lutra is reporting overcast conditions from central going north. There is an outage at present in Wems's Right, and crews are investigating recent outages from Hatchet Bay to Deep Creek. The team will continue to respond and monitor as the day goes by. Bimini experienced a total island-wide shutdown at 9:35 a.m. this morning. As of 10:03 this morning, supplies have been restored in Bimini except Bailey Town. On the island of New Providence, West Bay Street, in particular the area west of Orange Hill, is offline at present. Three other areas along with this area are being investigated.
Okay, so that's an update from Bahamas Power and Light as it relates to what they are doing to try to protect the system during the passage of this storm, to ensure that they're able to provide services after the storm passes. So that again was from a press conference held today, this morning at 10, and not sure what the update will be as it relates to BPL by the time the next update is provided at 5 p.m. I know that Shelley Lewis is going to be covering that press briefing at 5 p.m. and will be bringing you all of the latest information from that. Jason, is she going to be going live or from what you're aware, or just providing updates in the newscast? All right, we're going to check to let you know whether or not Shelley Lewis will be coming in live. So I do have some latest information on the storm. This would be, let's see, alert number 20 on Tropical Storm Nicole, issued by the Bahamas Department of Meteorology. And this was issued at 2 p.m. Today. So this is the latest update available to us. And I'll just go ahead and read this to you so you can get an idea of where the storm is at. In the meantime, again, if you are in an area that is being impacted, we would love to hear your firsthand account of what is happening in your area. I know that I had spoken to someone out of Grand Bahama who is supposed to, he was out on the street trying to help family members, etc., and said that he would try to log in while he was out there to give us an update on the conditions there in Grand Bahama. But in the meantime, here's the information from alert number 20 on Tropical Storm Nicole, again issued by the Bahamas Department of Meteorology. And this alert was issued at 2 p.m. today. The center of Nicole made landfall on Elbow Key in the Abacos at 11:55 a.m. Tropical storm conditions continue to spread across the extreme northwest Bahamas. Perilous sea conditions remain in the northwest Bahamas, and a hurricane warning remains in effect for the islands of Grand Bahama, Abaco, and the Berry Islands. So again, a hurricane warning remains in effect for the islands of Grand Bahama, Abaco, and the Berry Islands. A hurricane warning means that hurricane conditions could be experienced in the above-mentioned islands within 36 hours. A tropical storm warning is in effect for the island of Bimini, and a tropical storm warning means that tropical storm conditions could be experienced in that island within 36 hours. So at 1 p.m. this afternoon, the center of Tropical Storm Nicole was located near latitude 26.5 degrees north and longitude 77.3 degrees west, or about 40 miles east-southeast of Sweetings Key, Grand Bahama, 100 miles north of New Providence, 130 miles east-northeast of Alistown, Bimini. So Nicole is moving toward the west near 12 miles per hour. A turn toward the west-northwest is expected tonight, followed by a turn towards the northwest on Thursday, and north or northeast on Friday. On the forecast track, the center of Nicole is moving over the Abacos and will move over Grand Bahama this afternoon and offshore the east coast of Florida by tonight. So maximum sustained winds are near 70 miles per hour with higher gusts, sometimes strengthening. Some strengthening is expected today, and Nicole is forecast to become a hurricane in the northwest Bahamas and remain a hurricane when it reaches the east coast of Florida tonight. Nicole is a large tropical storm. Tropical storm force winds extend outward up to 460 miles, especially to the north of the center. At 12:20 p.m., strong tropical storm force winds of about 50 miles per hour and flooding on both the airfield and land side at the Leonard Thompson International Airport, Marsh Harbor, was reported, and Settlement Point in Grand Bahama reported winds gusting to 45 miles per hour. Storm surge, inundation as much as 4 to 6 feet above normal tide is impacting the coastal shores of the islands in the northwest Bahamas, and therefore residents in these islands should avoid the coastal areas and move further inland. Large swells generated by Nicole will affect the northwest Bahamas for the next several days, and these swells are likely to cause life-threatening surf and dangerous rip currents. Nicole is expected to produce rainfall amounts of 3 to 5 inches with localized higher amounts of up to 8 inches across the northwest Bahamas today through Friday. The information of water spouts and tornadoes are possible during the passage of Nicole through the Bahamas, and boaters are advised to remain in port. Residents in the northwest Bahamas are advised to seek shelter indoors when weather conditions deteriorate, and those particularly on the islands of Grand Bahama, Abaco, and the Berry Islands should anticipate possible hurricane conditions later today. So the next alert on Tropical Storm Nicole will be issued at 5 p.m. Eastern today. Again, we expect that there will be a press briefing at 5 p.m. today. So we're going to have, I'm sure, an update at that press briefing to find out more of the latest coordinates and what can be expected from those who are going to receive the brunt of Tropical Nicole's fury. So the telephone numbers to call to give us an update: 3260271, 3260271, 3260272, 3260272, and the WhatsApp line is 8010271, 8010271. Now, there were a couple more presentations from today's press briefing. The time, wasn't on our side, so I wasn't able to edit all of them. But I think what I will do is we're going to take a break, and after the break, I'm going to try to upload some of them as is. Now, one of them in particular is telling me it's too large to upload. I'm not sure which one that is. So I'm going to have to try to share it like I did with the BPL video. But in the meantime, let's take this commercial break while I upload these remaining clips from today's press briefing. Again, these are raw, unedited, so please bear with us if it's a little shaky or there's some information in there that you think is unnecessary, because I didn't have sufficient time to edit them all. And so we're going to play a couple more clips on the other side of this break. Stay with us. This is GPS. I'm also expecting to hear from Grand Bahama in this last segment of the show. So stay with us. We'll be back after these words from our sponsors.
Blood sugar levels play a key role in your appetite, weight gain, and overall health. When you have a blood sugar spike, you can feel confused, dizzy, and even have increased cravings. Eating carbohydrates, sugary or fatty foods, and not exercising can all cause blood sugar spikes. But now you have help in managing blood sugar levels. Sweeties by Youngevity was designed to help support healthy blood sugar levels so you can power through your day. It's a synergistic blend of minerals, herbs, and nutrients that have been proven to support healthy blood sugar levels. Sweeties includes chromium, an essential trace mineral that's known for its contribution to healthy blood sugar levels and improved metabolism of carbohydrates, fats, and proteins. Cinnamon bark has been included for its naturally occurring antioxidants and support of a healthy heart. And we've even added gymnema. It's been used in Ayurveda for centuries to help promote healthy blood sugar. All the ingredients in Sweeties work together to give the best support available for blood sugar control. Sweeties, the blood sugar support supplement from Youngevity that helps control cravings and manage blood sugar levels through your day. To learn more, contact your Youngevity associate.
Welcome to Sunshine Auto, the hardest place on the planet for rims, paints, and tires.
We are your auto superstore for rims, Lexani, Azaras, Trueform, Western, Lux, Fuel, Track Lights, Tough, Rough Racing, Velocity, Mud, All-Terrain, and low-profile tires, cars, homes, and commercial window tinting. At Sunshine Auto, we put God first and customer is king.
Blessed love.
As you age, factors like health, weight, diet, and lifestyle can all impact your bones, joints, and general mobility. Even everyday exercise can lead to wear and tear on your body. Over time, you might start to experience stiffness or pain due to damaged joints or connective tissue. Ultimate Glucogel by Youngevity was created to help you limit the effects of wear on your joints. It delivers a daily dose of collagen-rich gelatin your body needs for joint elasticity and maintenance. Ultimate Glucogel contains a 1-to-1 ratio of gelatin and glucosamine sulfate, which is a key building block of your bone matrix, cartilage, ligaments, tendons, and connective tissue. Gelatin's unique blend of amino acids not only help with muscle and joint health, but also has been shown to provide additional benefits for the brain, skin, and hair. Ultimate Glucogel. Natural, optimal daily support for joint health. To learn more, contact your Youngevity associate.
And now intact or making landfall on Abaco as of 10 a.m. Strong tropical storm.
GPS here on Global 99.5 FM. I'm Michelle Malcolm, and we are bringing you coverage from today's press briefing. Trying to upload this new video from a presenter today. We've had several people who said that they would be available, but were unable to make it due to various emergencies that have come up and situations that they had to deal with. So they weren't able to make it. So again, these are videos that I would not have had an opportunity to edit. So we're going to be playing them raw. It is what it is. And so let me make sure everything is turned up so you can hear it. All right, here we go. Let's try it. Let's try this one.
With respect to agency update. But during the course of the night, the full team, our team was here at NEMA monitoring the system and hearing from our islands as best we can. Up to this morning, we know that some 27 shelters were activated and a total of some 528 persons reported into shelters up to 7 a.m. this morning. As you're aware, from our other Met updates, we know the strong tropical force winds are now impact or making landfall on Abaco as of 10 a.m. Strong tropical storm force winds as of 10 a.m. are now impacting the island of Abaco.
And with the speed now at 12 miles per hour, that's going to continue. And like I said, around 1 p.m. in the next 3 hours, we'll now have a hurricane in the middle of Little Abaco and Grand Bahama. And they're going to experience the tropical hurricane force winds for a period of time during the afternoon. That's our main concern now. And we're urging all persons in the Little Abaco, Central Abaco, Little Abaco, and in fact all the Abacos and Grand Bahama, to exercise extreme caution. They should not be moving about. They should now be in their safe place to weather the storm as it passes. We're urging persons, don't take chances to move about, trying to do those last bit of things. If they haven't secured their homes, find a safe place where they can weather the storm until it passes. As far as New Providence is concerned, you can see Nicole, at 1 p.m. today, the outer edge of the storm will be its closest point of approach to New Providence. And that keeps us clear, New Providence clear of the storm. And from 1 p.m. and beyond, it definitely continues to drastically improve here in New Providence. So we have no major concerns here in New Providence as related to this hurricane, because it will eventually move on and out of our way, okay? I'm gonna allow the Med Department to give you more detail on briefing in terms of this program here. Prime Minister, ladies and gentlemen, sir. So the Med Department, please. Mr. Green.
Good morning. Starting on.
Okay. Come back to me. So that was Captain Stephen Russell, the director of NEMA, during today's press briefing. Like I said, please bear with us because these will be unedited videos that we're going to be playing for you guys. Have we played the Defense Force update? I can't recall if we played the Defense Force update or not.
At 7 a.m., the center
Okay,
of
let me
Nicole was
upload
located
that to
at
the stream.
26.6 degrees north
Come back to me,
and
Jason.
75.2 degrees west. That is
Okay,
55 miles east of
okay,
hometown
so
Abaco, 105 miles east of East End Bahama,
that's
95
another video
miles
that's too
north
big
of
to
Governor's
be
Harbor
played
Neutral.
within itself. So I can't upload it, so I'm going to have to try to share it with you guys that way. The telephone number is 3260-271, 3260-271, 3260-272, 3260-272, and the WhatsApp line is 802 8010271. Is that C. Allen? Or just a caller? Caller, welcome to GPS.
Yes, Michelle, how you doing?
Hey, C. Allen, how you doing?
I'm doing okay, soaking wet.
You're soaking wet. What's going on over there in Grand Bahama?
Plenty of rain and gusts of wind, but it's not like a pouring down rain.
Mm-hmm.
We are feeling the gusts of wind, but it's like more like a sustained push based on what we are checking on various different sites that tracks the hurricane.
Right.
From this morning to this afternoon, it somehow seemingly is moving north of Grand Bahama instead of straight across the land that it first projected.
Mm-hmm.
And so we will still feel the impact of the outward bands from the center. The issue is that because most of Grand Bahamians, except for East Grand Bahama and West Grand Bahama, doesn't live on the north coast, I think it'll be less of an impact from the flooding that came with Dorian due to a ridge that runs down the front of the farmland area and the actual housing area.
Mm-hmm.
So I do think that we'll have some impact from the rain even in the inner city due to it being, the water have nowhere to go due to the moon and the high tide, king tide or whatever they call it.
Mm-hmm.
So the key now is that as this hurricane, you could feel just a slight uptick in the consistency of the wind. And so we can anticipate that means that as much as minimum has reached the eastern end of the island. And so we just kind of like have to watch. I was moving around through various friends and families, and more so for the senior citizens, my brother and I, we have a list of elderly individuals that are doing seasoned hurricanes and things that we go and check on and make sure everything is okay. So they're secured, not to the point that where they're located that they felt the need to even go to a shelter. Even some people that live on the southern shore, but on the higher ground on the waterfront in Grand Bahama, they too don't even feel threatened that they would have to absolutely leave. And they have what is called strong, secure structures and a contingency plan in case something does happen, that they could go and be at a particular location. But I think the biggest problem we have in Grand Bahama is the anxiety that multiple hurricanes has done a number on us over the years. But Dorian has shifted the psyche of the entire island. Because generally speaking, we look for hurricanes. I think we had at least 6 over the last decade plus. So we kind of look, okay, you guys can get it this time, you guys can get it this time, you guys can get it this time. But what concerns Grand Bahamians is if you go to Google Earth, and we've had this conversation under the previous administration and the administration just before that, where we keep letting people know that there is no blue roofs on Grand Bahama. So when you see these blue roofs and you see these tan roofs on Grand Bahama, those are tops. And so, this wind now, as most of those are being held down by nails. And so as the wind gets underneath it, it's beginning to rip those up. And so homes now that was maybe dried out, depending on the tops, will begin to experience some intrusion of water coming inside, which kind of set them back, which then now makes an argument concerning the expiration of the SERS that myself and others has been arguing to be extended beyond December, just in a different format. I think it may have to drive this conversation home, even for businesses in maybe in the downtown or other areas that still has a certain exposure to water rising within those locations, and the lack of fiscal financial resources necessary to buy the things that is needed to boil up the homes. And so a lot of people on this island have basically had a choice of buying food and water or buying protection, just kind of buying the food and water in anticipation that if something happened, they would be able to have subsistence, and kind of praying and setting up strategy plans to hope the hurricane doesn't hit. I don't know personally as to the response to the various hurricane shelters, but I know in West Grand Bahama where the hurricane, those are what they call shore exposures, more so for West End. They will definitely have some intrusion, like I guess you would see in the videos on New Providence, where it will definitely go over the seawall. As to the height or to the limit, I couldn't, in any particular sense, tell you that, because I haven't been to the south side. I've been to the water, but I haven't been to any locations on the north side where the hurricane will be passing and doing the pushing.
It is expected that this storm is going to strengthen before it leaves the Bahamas, which means that once again, Grand Bahama will experience a storm, that in this particular case, that will be at its strongest that it has been so far. And it seems that Grand Bahama can't catch a break, man. It's like again and again and again, these storms are impacting that island. How are people holding up, it seems, from a mental health perspective, from what you can tell?
I guess the argument has always been that Grand Bahamians are a resilient group of people. The problem that we may encounter is the fact that for decades now, we knew Grand Bahama is almost the central point in this hurricane alley that is almost impacted directly or indirectly by hurricanes, and we have done nothing to build resilience. We talk about the people being resilient people,
right?
But we have not done anything to build resilience. We have homes in Grand Bahama, in the truest sense, has not been repaired since the 2004 hurricane.
Wow.
And so what you have is a depressed economy where literally homes that you expect to be in a better environment is literally being distressed. if you drive around Grand Bahama, you'll see homes that you would normally not see in the conditions they are in beginning in a deterioration position. And that's because over the years, people have been able to maintain their homes, and some people have been able to maintain their homes by virtue that the banks just don't want to leave it abandoned, because abandoned homes are stripped here on Grand Bahama. And so that brings some relief where people were able to, stay in their homes. But from a holistic standpoint, Grand Bahama needs a centralized attention and individual. And one of the things that I am always distressed and worried about Grand Bahama is that when I hear people around the Bahamas, and they have been a wonderful job of divide and conquer to make us believe that Grand Bahama has nothing to do with New Providence, or our Andres have nothing to do with Mequon or Eleuthera. And so they always centralize that what Grand Bahamas are doing, whatever. The problem we have is what the Bahamas is doing. And if you take the Prime Minister at his word, he's not there saying Grand Bahama or Andres or Eleuthera or Abaco. He's there saying the Bahamas. And so we have to understand that we are one. We have multiple islands, one people. And if we could understand that, then we could look at holistically at the needs of all of us in a collaborative effort as what we have to do. And because we've allowed them to separate us, they've been able to isolate the issues on any particular island, even though that the issues are similar across many islands. And we know that every political party that was vying for to be elected since 2002 has said that if Grand Bahama is not rebuilt or reinstated, there will be no economic recovery of the Bahamas. That has become more evident now. Yet you have people suffering around the Bahamas, even on New Providence, is acting as though Grand Bahama is another country. And so if we could begin to look at what it is that we have to do, and for me, what has happened here, and it disturbs me again, that almost 20 years after the law has called for NEMA to produce a hurricane plan, none has ever been produced in violation of the law for almost 2 decades, in spite of the same leadership being there. And so how do you respond? On Grand Bahama, in spite of the number of places that's been named as hurricane shelters, they're not hurricane shelters. There's one hurricane shelter on the island, and that's the Church of God of Prophecy in Pinedale in 8 Mile Rock. One being built in the Freeport, Maine, Lucaya area by the Seventh-day Adventist Church. But the rest of these places are just random places they choose for people to run and huddle at, because their place may be less viable than the place they're going to. But in the purest sense of being a shelter, they are not. And the question though is, how do you have a location in the center of a hurricane alley that you have no...
I think we just lost C. Allen. Okay, I'm not sure what that means in terms of service to Grand Bahama. But yeah, we definitely lost him. Okay. Not surprising during a storm. These things happen. So, C. Allen, if you are under the sound of my voice and you're still able to get back in, would love you to come back in to finish the point you're trying to make. I did, by the way, send you the StreamYard link. So if you have internet access and you want to, just maybe something as simple as a dead battery on his phone. So if you're hearing me say, Alan, and you want to log in using the StreamYard link, please go ahead and do so. I did send you that information. Okay, so in the meantime, while we're trying to reconnect with C. Allen to get his views on what should be happening for Grand Bahama as it relates to not just saying that the people are resilient, but having a resilient plan in place, which actually might help to restore the economy. Because as we know, the economy of Grand Bahama, with the announcement that the deal did not go through for the Grand Lucayan Hotel, a lot of hope was dashed yet again. And so perhaps if we had done what we were supposed to do as it relates to putting a more concrete plan in place to deal with storms and the like, things would be better in Grand Bahama today. Okay, so I'm trying to upload this while we wait for Cialan to reconnect. He may or may not be able to. I don't know what his situation is, but in the meantime, while I'm talking to you, I'm trying to share the video from the officer of the Defense Force who was represented at the press briefing today. So let's see if this video is going to cooperate with me and upload so that I can go ahead and share it. Okay, here we go. Let me make sure the sound is turned up so you guys can hear it. Let's see. Okay, sound is up on my end, Jason, so let's see if that's Cialan again.
Defense Force Marines continue to assist in Abaco and Grand Bahama.
Yes. Okay, let's get Cialan back on the phone while we work on the sound situation. Cialan, you got cut off there.
Yes, that's the power going off, and that few seconds or whatever it takes for it to reset,
Right.
it actually disconnects. I am on an IP type phone and everything else, so
Okay.
it took a minute to go through the recycle to actually re-engage the power.
Right.
What happens is what I was saying is that I'm always concerned with the fact that NEMA has no strategy, no hurricane plans for an island such as Grand Bahama that is going to be in a hurricane zone. In the absence of moving the island, I think that we should have a hurricane strategy that has been developed by now. We should also pressure the Grand Bahama Port Authority to fulfill its obligation as the manager of the city, that it itself has no hurricane shelters or response plan, a pre-response plan to what to do, how to do it, and whatever else. They say we try to keep your water on, we try to keep your light on, etc. But that is not protecting lives or responding. And in the absence of Grand Bahama actually having the economic impetus that is needed for the actual recovery of the entire Bahamas, I think the entire Bahamas needs to be concerned. Those individuals in Grand Bahama that around New Providence that has no possibility of ever owning a home due to the price of land must consider how important Grand Bahama is. The Grand Bahama Port Authority has about 90,000 acres in their control, for which 60% is available. And you can buy land in Grand Bahama for as low as $5,000 for a quarter acre, maybe even more. Where in New Providence, you start at $200,000. So basically, you could come to Grand Bahama if the economy is developed the way it should. And for the price of just the price of land in New Providence, you could buy and build a home on Grand Bahama for your family. So it changes the dynamics of home ownership, which is one of the most important aspects of gauge of an economy. And so after this hurricane goes, I think we need to have a conversation because Grand Bahama has the land mass and the availability of resources to build a planned island the way it was intended that include these hurricane shelters, etc., to be able to respond to it. So again, I know being docile here on Grand Bahama, I'm going to make it a point after this hurricane for people to fully understand, because it comes back as a stark reminder for Abaco and Grand Bahama, that truly nothing has been done since Dorian by the previous or this administration beyond giving us lip service.
So do you believe that the absence of said resilient plan on behalf of the administrations, plural, is playing a significant role in the stagnation of the economy of Grand Bahama? We see all of these.
Off the Bahamas. No, off the Bahamas.
Right.
But it's playing a significant role, if you want to say, between 60 to 100,000 individuals that live on Grand Bahama, Abaco, and the surrounding island and keys. This is mental health because we are knowing that, remember, going back to 2004, even before. And so as we are now running around the world saying that hurricanes are becoming worse and worse, well, our condition is also becoming worse and worse. And it isn't like we want government or anybody to fix anything for us. But for lack of an economy, how do we generate the capital that is needed to actually fix these properties ourselves for almost 2 decades? And the only thing that's preventing us from doing that is the action or inaction of the government of the Bahamas, which is responsible for Grand Bahama and has an invested interest and influence on Freeport, which is the Grand Bahama Port Authority, for which we own 7.5% and has the ability to appoint people to the board of the Grand Bahama Port Authority. And so there's no excuse for the Bahamas itself to recover. We are seeing the impact of the cryptocurrency, which I guess we'll talk about that tomorrow or the day after when we do get together.
Tomorrow.
Of our economy is collapsing around us, and so these soft talking points that we have allowed them to do. And I just want Bahamians to know that it says that that power concedes nothing without a demand. But power does not concede to the demand of an emasculated constituent. And so that means that as constituents that basically government should be answered to, we can't make a demand of government on our knees. We have to stand up and begin to be engaged and involved in plotting the direction the way the Bahamas go. Because hurricanes, and according even to the Prime Minister's own words, is not going to redirect itself or go away. And there's a greater threat. And people in New Providence have to ask, where would 350,000 people go if New Providence was to be struck? Well, Grand Bahama will both be the most viable place to come to. But how do you come to us if there's no plan to strengthen us to be able to accommodate you? And these are questions that you have to ask so they get to see that Grand Bahama do play a central role in New Providence, because to build a hurricane shelter on New Providence to accommodate 300,000 or even 1/3 of the population, which is the ideal safety zone, and verification of structures that can accommodate certain hurricanes and flood levels, which we don't have the data. It's like we need to stop. We are now in the 21st century. We are information-rich environment, and information, when comprehended, is called knowledge. Knowledge, when comprehended, is wisdom, and the Bible says, "Seek ye after wisdom." Information, when comprehended, is knowledge. Knowledge, when properly executed, is wisdom. And the Bible says, "Seek ye after wisdom." So we should be seeking to properly execute the knowledge we derive from the information around us. And so, like you say, I thank you for the show, and we can continue to use this and other platforms to drive the conversation beyond social media and talk and begin to add some thought into our discussions, because we are in a perilous situation from an economic standpoint in the pathway of global warming and climate change, and we're not having sensible conversations on it. And this particular hurricane is a reminder, a soft reminder, that we have done nothing for 3 years.
Soft reminder, key words, thank God. I mean, no storm is welcomed, but this could have been a whole lot worse.
Yes.
So, we have to be grateful for the mercies that we do receive.
So I look forward to talking with you tomorrow in regards to what's now, what's next, and what's new.
Yeah.
And touch on this very storm as well as economics. The Bible did never say the root of money is evil. It said the love of money is evil, and money answered all things. And so we don't need to have money become obsessed with money. However, we need to be able to look on how to get money into this economy and drive the empowerment of Bahamian families. It is only about 100, when you may look at 400,000 people, but even if you put it at 2 people in each family, adults, that gives us 200,000 people. Deduct that down from what they're being all done. We may have 150, 175,000 families, which is a small community considering the volume of our GDP, not touching the undocumented part of it, but a $3 trillion of trade that happens.
Mm-hmm.
And even what happened with FTX is but a wake-up call for us stepping over the dollars to pick up shiny things.
Mm-hmm.
Because blockchain and tokenization is a valuable asset for the empowerment of the humans. In fact, tomorrow I want people to tune in, tell a friend, tell a family, tell 5 people to tune in, because we'll touch on how tokenization of our economy can cause humans all to become home ownership, whether they want to or not. And so, if you don't want it, then I'll take yours too.
Yeah, tomorrow's show is not going to, snorkeling gear is not going to be suffice. You got to bring your scuba diving gear for tomorrow's show.
Okay, but that's fine. We'll see.
I don't mean you. I mean, I'm talking to the listeners now.
Okay, yes, I'm saying to you. It's always, like you say, it's always going to be deep. It's going to be deep in knowledge. The beauty is that you're on social media platforms, so what they miss, they can play it back.
Yeah. All right. Listen,
Okay.
Be safe, man.
I will. All right.
Okay.
Take care.
Thanks so much for
Bye-bye.
calling in. All right. So we're going to try in the last 4 minutes one more time to get you this clip from the Defense Force. Jason, make sure that everything is open, please. I'm about to play it. I want to make sure that my audience can hear it. So you got everything open? All right. Let's try this one more time. The person, open up. The person in this clip is, let's see, where did that go? From the person in this clip is from the Defense Force, and I just want to make sure I get the correct name of the lady. She's Commander Sonia Miller from the Royal Bahamas Defense Force. So let's try this one more time.
Bahamas. In the Emergency Operations Center. They are also conducting roving patrols with the local authorities on the island of Abaco. Marines are also conducting similar patrols on the island of Grand Bahama. The Bimini team remains on standby and ready to assist as necessary. Defense Force ships remain on hurricane avoidance. HMBS Lawrence Major is a part of this flotilla. She has on board NEMA's dry food and water supply, heavy duty equipment, and a Royal Bahamas Defense Force impact team. This will allow for the HMBS Lawrence Major to proceed directly to an impacted island. And this will happen once weather permits.
We are running out of time, so I'm gonna close that off right there. Understand that at 5 p.m. today, there will be another press briefing from NEMA. And so that is just about an hour away. And I believe Shelley Lewis is planning to cover that and will be able to bring us an update in due course. Until tomorrow, I'm Michelle Malcolm. Thank you so much for joining us. I think we will return to our regular way of doing things tomorrow on GPS, as Shelley and the news department will be able to provide you with updates as it relates to the storm. I'll see you guys tomorrow. Be safe out there, people. Stay indoors and take care.
Global 99.5 FM reminds our listeners that the views and opinions expressed on this show are those of the host and guests and not necessarily the opinions of the owners of Global Communications Network